Okay, so let's talk about Lower Decks. Star Trek Lower Decks is the new animated sci-fi comedy from CBS All Access. And it recently premiered, and I recently saw the first 2 episodes. This is more of a first impressions rather than a review on it, so let's get down to this. One good thing is, the characters all seem to tend to have a unique voice. There are things that are said in one way that I could only imagine each of the main individual characters actually saying.
Thank you so much! Can I just say that I'm really honored to be—
I'm giving you a special assignment.
Really? I mean, of course, yes, whatever you need.
Jackstrap his latte again? Guy's got baby hands.
But she had zero interest in figuring out why a red alert overrode maintenance hatch 70's access protocols. It's like, can you even imagine?
This is a good thing so that not every character seems like they're just espousing dialogue. Insert the Warcraft movie clip here.
Rockworld is dead. Books take this world now.
This is a movie, not a nuclear reactor. We don't need this much redundancy. The animation style works for what they're trying to go for. It's not my favorite kind of thing. I don't know. It's a bit too frenetic for me, in that it seems like it's always constantly in motion, and there's never any downtime to just sort of talk about things. Granted, my favorite kind of animated comedy show tend to be things like Archer or the Venture Brothers, which tend to rely a little bit more heavily on dialogue than anything else. That's not to say that, a fast-paced style can't work. Looney Tunes, or I guess more aptly, considering we're talking about a sci-fi show, Duck Dodgers is a great example. But I don't know how well that fits the oftentimes more, I hesitate to come up with a word other than cerebral, although I really hate that term in this case, tone that Star Trek tends to try and focus on. I don't know, most of the humor in old Star Trek also came from dialogue. It was a low-budget TV show. They didn't have a lot of room to move that sort of... They didn't have a lot of room to do a lot of that slapstick style comedy and like the super fast thing. So that's somewhat jarring, I would say. The differences in how I would imagine the animation style should be and what it actually is. I don't know. TLDR, it's just a bit too frenetic for me. It's not really bad, and I'll get used to it. To that end, all things in the production are very well done. The voice acting is well done, the music's on point, the directing is good. The pacing is a bit rushed, but mostly works. It's a half-hour show, so the pacing being a bit quick compared to other Star Trek shows makes a little bit of sense. And again, I need to reiterate, it fits the setting. The setting is intact and everything feels like it belongs in the Star Trek universe. There's just one major problem with this show. It's not funny.
Blast your shield, it's a blast shield, and it comes down and it goes up. Blast shield!
This isn't funny!
I watched the first 2 episodes, and I had a slight chuckle once, I want to say. 2 times if you count your dialogue accidentally reminded me of an inside joke. But I don't think you get credit for that one. Look, a lot of the problem I have with the humor in this show boils down to Tom Paris and Harry Kim over here, and the fact that this dynamic it's not humorous, it's abusive. 2 episodes in so far, so take this with a grain of salt. But the way Boimler is treated, mostly by Mariner in this series, is awful? I don't know how else to put this. When you want to create comedy based on shitting on a character, making fun of them, or showing that they're ignorant, or something like that, you need to do something to balance that out. If something relentlessly crappy just keeps happening to one person, it'd be Farscape, but it just makes me feel bad for them. And that is the problem I am currently having with Boimler and the Mariner subplots. For whatever reason, they tend to, split these two, split up Boimler and Mariner and Rutherford and Tildy. I don't know why. Again, first 2 episodes, maybe that will switch up some. he gets shit on way too much with no balance. You need something on the other end to justify things in some way. Let's draw from examples of other animated comedy shows, because that's easy and you can't say that I'm not trying to fit the mold. Booster Gold!
Booster Gold, protecting his past to ensure your future.
In Justice League Unlimited. Yeah, he had one episode and it was called The Greatest Story Never Told. And there is a constant theme running throughout this entire episode is that everyone kind of hates Booster Gold.
Energize.
Doofus.
But this is put on balance because it does show that he kind of deserves it. He's kind of a vainglory hound in some aspects.
She is still alive.
She's beautiful. And in distress, my favorite kind of damsel.
For the record, he gets better by the end of the story, but there is a good balance in this episode of Justice League Unlimited where where everyone is making fun of Booster Gold, and you can laugh at that because he's kind of a douche. Boimler isn't really a douche. He is kind of uptight, but he's trying his best. So the amount of crap this guy takes just makes me end up feeling bad for him. There's another way you can balance this kind of thing. Jeff Fisher from American Dad.
Just say the word.
Don't do it, Francine.
All I heard was do it.
Honey, it's not loaded.
This guy is just sort of, whatever. He basically just says okay to just about everything. And the joke here with him is that people will take advantage and be crappy to him, and he is just too innocent for that. So the joke is on the people being mean to him, who would be mean to what amounts to a human puppy. So that's why I don't like this dynamic at all. It's borderline abusive so far. No, not even the ending of the second episode is going to change my mind on that, because the fact that Boimler couldn't see through this deception just makes him look stupid.
Come. What are you doing? We can't trust a Ferengi.
What? He's not a Ferengi.
Yes, he is.
I think he's a Bolian.
Oh my god.
This is obviously being played up. And the fact that Mariner thinks that he's so stupid that he would fall for it kind of makes her look mean. Like she doesn't have a very high opinion of his intelligence. Which, I mean, granted, it is vindicated, but I just end up feeling bad for the guy by the end of this episode. It's not funny. The other problem I'm tending to have with the humor in this series is that a lot of it is just referential. And okay, referential humor can work if you tell a joke within the reference. You can't just point to something and say, this existed, and have people laugh. You have to do something else with it. For all the crap that Family Guy gets, they're not too bad about this, in all honesty. Although, if we're gonna bring up Family Guy, if you're wondering why you don't like Meg episodes, it boils down to what I was just talking about. I just feel bad for her.
Shut up, Meg!
Well, they'll reference something, and then they'll throw a little twist on it, a little humorous twist on it. Like, what if a Klansman was very timid?
I just think you should get out of town. I think it would be so great if you went back to where you came from. Okay, here goes nothing.
Can I help you?
Lemon squares? Keep the pan. He's gonna stay.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
The joke there isn't that the Ku Klux Klan exists. The joke there is that we don't expect someone in the Ku Klux Klan to be this mild-mannered. Also, I love how that guy says fiddlesticks. So every time you reference another Star Trek series, my major thought is, yeah, that's a thing that happened. Thank you. And this doesn't even get into the jokes that are just, like, incomplete. Right here.
Ship destroyed. Casualties 105%.
Wait, how did I kill more than the whole crew?
Yeah, how did he kill 105% of the crew? That's the setup for a good joke. Maybe you could over-explain it, like an over-elaborate explanation that has a humorous twist about it. You know, looking at things from a different point of view, so some people count twice in some way. Like, there's a joke to be made out of there. It's just that there wasn't really a joke. It was a setup with no punchline. yeah, I don't know. That's really just my issue with it. For several reasons, I don't feel like the jokes land. And in an animated comedy show, that's kind of important.
Stun it. We'll just stun it.
No, that could spoil the milk.
Spoil what milk?
These guys probably milk it.
You would hear crickets chirping, but they were too uncomfortable about just how unfunny that actually was.